First thing you'll see when you log into learning.com is your teacher dashboard. Here you will see any classes that are rostered to you on your dashboard. You'll also have in yellow up here if there are any new updates, they will be posted in this little banner at the top. At the top of your dashboard, it will default to your classes, but you also have access to the learning.com library, your TechQuest dashboard, and then your account settings here. So the first thing that you will notice is your class title. So to view the students in your class or to check their progress, you would just click View Class. From here, you will see the students that you have rostered to you. You will see any assignments that you have assigned to your students. And then you also have access to your class settings. If you would like to add a co-teacher, you can do that here. You can also nickname your class so that it doesn't have your Skyward course name here. The nickname, whatever you name this class, would be visible to your students as well. So if you want something that's a little bit easier for them to read instead of this long Skyward course name, you could do that. The grade level will already be selected for you because it's coming in from Skyward, so you don't need to worry about the grade level. If you have multiple sections of students, you can make those courses active or inactive. Just know that when you turn that off and deactivate it, your students would not have access to that class anymore. You can also choose to let your students receive a certificate of completion whenever they complete their activities in learning.com. We will switch over to the forced assignment sequence. That just means that your students will have to go in a particular order to complete their assignments. They can't jump around and kind of pick and choose what they do. We do want them to follow that same path. And we're also going to set the minimum score to 80%. And that just means that when your students are doing their assignments, they must score at least 80 to be able to move on to the next activity. If they score less than 80, they'll have to redo that activity until they meet that 80%. On the Students tab of your teacher dashboard, you'll also see this Actions button here at the far right. If you click there, it will allow you to print your roster. You can print login cards, but there really is not any need to do that since students will be logging in through ClassLink. But you'll also have the option here to print a student detail report. As your students begin working in TechQuest or in the program, if you click on this student detail report, it'll let you be able to see your students' progress and all the activities they've completed. So that is on your Classes tab. So then you also have this Library tab. If you click on Library, this will allow you to view all of the lessons that your students will see. And it also has tons of teacher resources and additional lessons that you could use in your classroom. So to find your lessons that your students are seeing on their side, you would just click your grade level and then select a sequence. We will be using the student-driven learning path. So you'll want to click that and then just click Let's Go. Okay. So from here, you'll have the list of all of the lessons that your students will be seeing in their learning.com. So if you would like to just see what the lesson is over, you can also view the lesson. By clicking View, it's going to show you the student view of that lesson. If you click on the lesson name, it will just give you some details. It'll show you the objectives, estimate a time, about how long you think or they think it should take students to complete. And then it can also show you the standards and how they align to the ISTE standards. So you'll also notice on your dashboard for your library that you have all of the categories in learning.com that you could choose from. So if you would like to explore lessons on online testing, you could click on this Prep for Online Assessments tile and then choose the grade level that best meets your student's grade level. And then it will show you all of the lessons that they have so far that include online assessments and the skills that they may need to complete those online assessments. So you could go in and click on those lessons or view the student side of it. You'll also notice if you click on that home page, library home, so you can browse by category, but you can also look at the teacher resources. Here you'll see a scope and sequence. This blended learning curriculum map, that would be if we were doing the teacher-led sequence, but we're doing the asynchronous, which is the student-led. So if you'd like to see a curriculum map from pre-K through 12, you could download that here, as well as a scope and sequence. And the last tab that you'll see beside library is TechQuest. Remember, our students will be working through the asynchronous sequence. So that just means that everything is student-led and auto-graded for you. So you don't have to go in and actually manually assign anything. It's all ready to go. So to view your students' progress, you will click on this TechQuest tab on your dashboard. TechQuest is just the name of the student-led pathway. As your students work through their lessons, you'll see here just a little bit, it's going to default to gradebook, and you can click this little drop down. It'll give you the option to choose your specific class of students. And then as your students work through TechQuest, their grades will auto-populate here. So you'll be able to scroll through and see how they are progressing, how they're scoring on their lessons. All of the grades, when they auto-populate, if it is a green color, that just means they did meet the minimum of 80%. If it is in red, that means they did not meet that 80%. So you could click on that and reopen it for your students to complete if needed.